Hey everyone, welcome to Room and Goods. So in my previous video, I mentioned I'll be showing you guys both the cinematic pieces of Gloomy and The Line that I recorded in my virtual reality headset. As I said before, it's a much better experience in VR, but if you are not able to watch it in VR, you are more than welcome to watch it here. Enjoy! Talk to you guys later.
There was a time when the sun got tired of the idiocy of humans and decided to hide and never rise again. Eventually, I saw the zombies coming out of their graves, and war broke out between the living and the dead. There was little light left, and it was barely enough to go around. The humans had a boss in whom they believed as one who is in God. That's his niece, Nina. Luckily for us, she was different from all the other humans. She liked to play near the water, and maybe she knew the sun was hiding down there. But what do I know? I'm just a gravekeeper. That's Gloomy. I buried this boy. No one came to the funeral. He was different from all the other zombies. We all missed the sun. We thought watching this film was helpful, but it made us miss it more. Even though Gloomy seemed harmless, he got hungry sometimes. She lost her dog many times a day, and each time she missed it more. For the uncle, the most important thing was to hunt zombies and not waste time with dogs and body parts. Butterflies in his belly. The sun was hiding, but something in those two kids made him feel he could rise again from the darkness. How would it be to feel the light of the sun for the first time? Gloomy couldn't forget what he had seen in the water. The sun, the first light. He was longing to see Nina again, and to tell her what he saw. So he built a tiny sun for her. Nina lived with her uncle, who had rescued her. Sometimes she feared him, but sometimes, well, he was just her uncle. Nevertheless, in that big house, she had created her own little world. A cold night, a dark park, but they were together again. For their first date, the sun offered them some playful light. Nina and Gloomy were the same age, but she was much more adventurous. The uncle convinced the people that the zombies were a threat to humanity, and as such, they must be thrown away. This town was made only for the living. As it always happened on the full moon, the whole town went out hunting zombies. They locked them into cages and threw them far away. But that night, the uncle was after one particular zombie. When they were together, no dark was dark enough for them. They shine. And the sun felt complete when he didn't shine alone. Maybe if the humans had tolerated their love, things could have turned out another way. The son couldn't bear the pain. When he saw Gloomy die, he felt he was finally dying too. A freezing darkness took over the world. I bury dead people. That's my job. But this kid, it wasn't the first time I put him underground. They told me to bury him far away, so that he would never return. The warmth of the sun was gone, and only the cold of death remained. The uncle had thrown all the zombies far, far away. There was not a single zombie around, but the world was still dying in its freezing darkness. It had been the first time Nina was in love, and it had been too short. As the world, her heart was falling apart. All Nina wanted was to see Gloomy again. This little dog loved two things above all else: being loyal to his friends and digging up their bones. Gloomy couldn't die, but something in him was definitely dead. The magic was gone, and he was completely blind. Nina wanted to go back to the last place where she saw the light in his eyes. They're often considered a symbol of wisdom, of guidance. Bad time for mystical creatures. The uncle felt deeply irritated. He hated the idea of not knowing where Nina was. When he heard that Nina and Gloomy were back together, he exploded with rage. He unleashed his revenge. Nina had found the last warm place left. She seemed to know how to help Gloomy. It had a soothing effect on him. For a moment, they forgot what they were looking for. But playing has a strange way of making things work out. They finally found their friend, the sun. Revenge was underway. The uncle had prepared the worst ending for Gloomy. He was willing to forget everything that had happened.
For Californians, wildfires are a real threat. With advanced technology, we assess
Find what you love and let it kill you. Nobody knows what happened to Gloomy and Nina after that. But we do know that we all enjoyed the sunset. For the last time.
Not so long ago, we kept memories in photo albums. Remember? Why don't you try to turn the pages? Let's see what it hides inside. Some records can show who we are, the ones we love, how we live. But some memories can't fit in a photo. In a world of miniatures, routine is everything. Every cycle is exactly the same. The tram schedule never changes, the blue car always crosses the rails in the same direction, and so it goes. Traffic guard Washington always stops the tram right before the green car arrives. Wanna bet? In 3, 2, 1. See? Then he greets Mrs. Campos. Oddly enough, she waters her garden once every cycle, even though not a single drop of water comes out of the hose. She doesn't even notice. Well, it may be too repetitive for some, but not for Pedro, the paper boy. He quite enjoys a life without surprises. Even the newspapers he delivers bring the same news every time. Proud of his articulated legs, Pedro is the only dog who can ride across the entire model. But he always rides on the same track, the one and lonely track. Every cycle he picks up the same lucky message from the crank organ player on the street. Happy are those who are on the right track. As someone who has lived his whole life on the same track, he agrees. But sometimes, to stay on the same track, Pedro has to wait for the tram to pass. At one point, Pedro allowed himself a small transgression. He took a yellow flower from a tree. But even a little break like that, if repeated thousands of times, will eventually become routine. Pedro would not change a single thing. Well, maybe just a tiny little thing. He would work up the courage to declare his love for Rosa, the florist. He's completely in love with her. Pedro always promised himself that he would speak to Rosa. He told himself that if the church bell rings before the tram leaves, he would speak to her. That if the dog barks 3 times, if the dog barks 3 times, he would speak to her. But he also knew the next cycle was always around the corner, so he could delay it until then. Meanwhile, Pedro convinces himself that simply plucking that yellow flower would do. Only someone like Pedro would think that a flower is a creative gift for a florist. But as it turned out, the yellow flower meant the world to Rosa. Proud of her articulated arms, Rosa is the only dog who can grow flowers. Although yellow is her favorite color, thorny red flowers are her real work. But someone out there seems to know that Rosa would like her life to be different. Maybe in the next cycle, the yellow flower would bring her the one she has been waiting for. Another cycle begins, and once again, everything is the same. The tram still arrives at the same time, the blue car crosses the rails again. Traffic guard Washington never fails to stop the tram right before the green car arrives. And then he greets Mrs. Cummers. Courtesy above all. And it is another day for Pedro. Like always, he delivers one newspaper. And another. He's sure both of them bring good news. The same news. The message is still the same. Happy are those who are on the right track. Pedro agrees. Again. And again, he gives way to the tram. Everything is just the same, just like it has always been. Until it's not. Well, on this day, Pedro learned something new. After so many cycles plucking yellow flowers, they finally run out. Confused, he follows the same old path. And for the very first time, he does not leave a yellow flower for Rosa. And Rosa believes that the flower will come if she waits a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a tiny little bit. Maybe the one she's waiting for will gather the courage to appear. But duty calls, and Rosa keeps living a thorny life. So much work growing flowers for other people's love stories. Stupid people with stupid love stories and stupid flowers. Who needs flowers after all? Pedro believes he will lose Rosa, and nothing will ever make sense again. What if she no longer cared about him? And today, of all days, when he was finally ready to give it a shot and talk to her, maybe. Even the crank organ lost its charm. Happy are those who are on the right track. Stupid message. Stupid crank organ. But wait. What if the right track is actually a detour? What if love is an unknown path after all? Bravo, bravo, my dear Pedro. You've just found the very last yellow flower for Rosa. As they say, fortuna audacis sequitur, which means, if my Latin isn't too rusty, fortune favors the bold. I knew a detour could only be... It could only be a terrible idea. Of course. After all he went through, Pedro no longer has his bike, but he walks on his own 2 feet. He does not have a yellow flower, but he has decided to talk to Rosa, even if all the signs say otherwise. But Rosa is not there. And Pedro does not know what to do or where to start looking for her. Until he sees a yellow flower. And then another one. 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 And then another one Pedro, who has always lived on calm waters, is in need of a windstorm, a cyclone, a tornado. Pedro and Rosa need no introductions. Rosa said she kept all the yellow flowers, each and every day. She waited for him to show up. When the flower never came, she understood it was time for her to get out there and look for him. Pedro had to get to know her garden. Now Pedro can paddle all over the model, and Rosa can be their guide. Together, they can go further. Have you ever felt like you were living in a ceaseless repetition? In a world of miniatures, routine is everything. But with a little bit of courage, you can change it. After all, walking the line is not enough. Sometimes you have to draw it as you go.